which means that any organism with sufficient mass and cognitive capability is a potential vector. Is something wrong?
No, nothing.
Splendid, shall we? Unfortunately, my usefulness to this particular endeavor has come to an end. Protocol does not allow units with my classification to perform a task as important as the reunification of the index with the core. That final step is reserved for you, Reclaimer. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching you toady about, helping that thing get set to slit our throats.
Hold on now. He's a friend.
Oh, I didn't realize. He's your pal, is he? Your chum? Do you have any idea what that bastard almost made you do?
Yes. Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood, which is why we brought the index to the control center.
You mean this?
A construct in the core? That is absolutely unacceptable.
Sod off!
What impertinence! I shall purge you at once!
You sure that's a good idea?
How dare you? I'll...
Do what? I have the index. You can just float and sputter.
Enough! The Flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the Flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how could you?
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 8th mission of my Halo Combat Evolved Legendary Walkthrough Guide. Today we'll be doing the mission 2 Betrayals, and this mission is a marathon of a mission. This mission is probably the most difficult mission in Halo Combat Evolved, and let's get right on to it because this one is really interesting to give a walkthrough for. Now, as you saw back there, I was using the plasma pistol overcharge shot to take out the Sentinels. Now when we entered this room though, we're going to be using a plasma pistol to take out the Sentinels. We're going to yeet a plasma and a frag grenade to kill the grunts. And then once we destroy all the Sentinels, we're going to focus down the elite and then use the shotgun after we EMP his shields, because now we're just going to non-stop fire the shotgun up until the enemies are killed there. Once we move up far enough, we're going to use another plasma pistol, not plasma pistol, but a plasma grenade and a frag grenade to kill the elite and 2 jackals that spawn at the end of the room here. Now moving on, and by the way, that elite just tanking that melee shot, like he just said no to the grenades and no to my melee attack. That guy was a bruiser to be sure. But moving on, we have a temporary despawn that we're going to be doing here. And I'm going to explain quickly how to do it. All you do is you walk up to this little console right here. You hit B once, hit B twice, and then in rapid succession, by the way. And if you do it right, the grunts will not have spawned in, but the elites on the right here will, and as well as the jackal. This allows you to traverse the citadel with no enemies, and allows you to go down to the basically bottom floor to go grab the rocket launchers without any problem. And it allows you to also go grab the Banshee that we're going to need to get up to the first beam pillar thingy that I'm going to refer to as the thing that we need to EMP for the rest of the mission. So yeah, as you saw there, making sure that we're not taking any fall damage, losing any unnecessary health. If you did lose any health, there's a health pack for you as well. But yeah, fairly simple, fairly chill part of the mission so far. And I promise you, this is as chill as it's going to get. So once you hop in the Banshee, we're going to fly it all the way back here. If you want to, you can also go grab some of the stuff at the top here. More shotgun ammo, more pistols, whatever. But when you fly it up here, you're going to want to park it in a way that allows you to get into it quickly. Because once we activate the door, again, all the grunts that I said will not have spawned in will spawn in. And then we need to basically just book it down the citadel as fast as possible. Notice the path that I'm taking and stick as closely to the path as possible, because if you do not, you might miss a loading zone that will prevent you from getting to this waypoint over here. As soon as that door opens, throw down a Banshee bomb to clear out some of these enemies, and then once all the enemies are killed, feel free to get out of your Banshee and then go in and EMP the first beam pillar thingy, so we can move on with the mission. Like, it's gonna be basically 3 of these, and it's basically the biggest gap is between 1 and 2, and a lot of it is just doing the exact same stuff that we did in Assault on the control room, except without the skip. So there's a lot to go through. There's a lot of Assault on the control room that we skipped, and now we get to do it all for real now, but backwards as well. Don't forget that. Now, don't get into the Banshee that is very low health. Get into the brand new Banshee that they provide for you. And you're going to fly down to this bridge right here. And you're going to go to the door that is open on the left. And you're going to use the Banshee to clear out the enemies before you get out of the Banshee. Now, once all the enemies are taken out, you're going to jump over your Banshee. Hopefully not get glitched out on the geometry. And then the first room is going to be just Covenant. That's good for us, right? Awesome. We only have to deal with the Covenant for right now. I mean, we've been dealing with those for a long time. We should be experts at fighting them. But remember, we've been using the noob combo pretty much the entire time when we've fought them. So just use the shotgun, making sure that we're being very methodical. That is pretty much the entire mantra of this entire mission. Being patient, being methodical, keeping an eye out for enemies, like keeping an eye on our motion tracker, knowing where enemies are, and generally just knowing what is supposed to be good versus certain enemies. Like, for an example, like, you're not going to use a frag grenade on an elite. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. I mean, unless you absolutely have to, but regardless, we're just going to be smart, like, understand how we're going to approach certain situations. And again, like, this is by no means like a perfect run. Like, there's a lot that can be saved in time, in terms of, like, you just saw me miss a plasma grenade throw. Like, there's plenty of areas where this can improve. So you want to optimize it however you can. Be very safe, though, and methodical. That is really what I'm trying to get at, is be safe, be patient, be methodical. Understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. Making sure we're taking out the enemies closest to us, but also making sure that we don't use a rocket launcher on ourselves, right? We don't want to take any splash damage. But as you see here, I'm being very patient, almost a little too passive, but it allows us to be very it allows us to basically get through the mission without dying, you know. Now when you get down here, you're going to toss a rocket there, toss a rocket to the back to take out the jackals, and then we're going to yeet a few grenades all the way to the back of this room right here. Now we're going to take out our rocket launcher, hit the back wall. Usually we could take out the elite sitting behind cover there If not, it's okay. We're going to take out all of his grunt friends, and then we're going to shoot him because usually his shields are down. Now, moving on, this is where the floods start to get involved. And that's pretty much the rest of the mission. It's going to be Flood versus the Covenant versus you. And we just need to be very, very careful when dealing with that combination. Now, as you saw there, use the rocket launcher to shoot in between this little gap. Keeping an eye out on our backside. And we're going to just yeet a few grenades through the little gap here as well as to the left. Going to toss a few more frags down here. And all we're trying to do is make it just safe enough for us to get past. I tried to sit in cover, but I think there was an elite that had me targeted through the area that I was shooting them from. But once your shields are recharged, you're going to jump up here, jump up to this ramping right here, jump down, take out this elite, target the elites here, stun both of them, and then take them out, and then just walk on past the grunts. Making sure that we are our ammo is all set up and good right now. Tossing a few grenades right here, taking out these jackals. And now this is the first bridge sequence where we're going to be dealing with Flood across the way. So you're going to want to be very, very careful with the Flood on the left side. And we're going to pick up a plasma pistol, not for the Flood, but there's an elite zealot on this bridge that we're going to be wanting to take out. And I'm trying to aggro him over to us, but again, the plasma pistol is no joke in Halo Combat Evolved. It shreds. It's shredded through Flood. It shreds through elites. It's a really good alternative to the Magnum. So I just want to throw my 2 cents about the plasma pistol, but in reality, all we're trying to do is get this guy right here. This is why we had the plasma pistol out. Once his shields are down, take out the shotgun, finish him off, not out. And then keep an eye out these combat forms, making sure we're keeping an eye on our scoreboard if you have that activated, because the scoreboard will tell you if you killed the combat form or not. Now, also keeping an eye out on our motion tracker, making sure that we're being aware when the Flood jump across the bridge, taking out the enemies again very methodically, moving up very methodically, little section by section. And keeping being very aware as well of what's going on the map. Now, entering the next room. So after the very first bridge sequence, we're going to be dealing with our first Flood-only room. Now, the Flood-only rooms are scary because there's a lot going on. So toss a frag as soon as you turn down the middle. Toss one frag up here because there's usually some enemies up there. And usually there's enemies that come from both the left and the right. But in this run, I only saw enemies on the right side. So you're going to toss a plasma grenade or a frag grenade, whatever grenades you have really, to help clear out the remaining Flood in this room. Now taking out the remaining Flood with our shotgun here. Saw that guy was keeping an eye out on my score. Saw that guy didn't die completely. I see a few more Flood combat forms that haven't died completely yet. So like that one right there, he's not dead. So we're going to keep an eye out on him. See, he just rezzed himself. Taking out another combat form. Got the sticky on him. And got a BXR off of him. But yeah, that's one way to clear the room. Just making sure that we're understanding where the Flood are. Like, again, keeping an eye on our motion tracker. And as a little segue into keeping an eye on our motion tracker, personally, I do not like having infection forms, so make sure that you clear them out as well. They're very annoying, especially in this part right here when you're just trying to move on. But moving on, you saw me back there throw a plasma grenade up front and all the way in the back. That's for the rocket launcher Flood, the rocket launcher Flood combat form. But unfortunately, usually the elite have died by the rocket launcher Flood, but they survived in this run. So I'm trying to, I'm keeping an eye on my health, and I'm trying to take out the elite majors sitting here, but it's really difficult without any grenades. And all I have is this plasma pistol that actually is effective, but at least both of their shields are down, and now one of them is dead. So again, being safe, waiting for my shields to recharge, and then I can be aggressive if I want to. And there we go. We had 1 HP in a dream, sure, but we got results. That's all that matters. But yeah, moving forward, again, very like step by step, keeping an eye out on these flood combat forms. As soon as you turn left, you should have a plasma grenade or a frag grenade down. Keeping an eye out for these carrier forms. Gonna get these infection forms all killed up before we move forward, because I do not want to die by some random infection form taking all my shields out. This is up to you. Like, if you have full shields, like, just walk on past, go to the next area. Like, basically, I only was trying to kill the infection forms because they're very annoying to deal with, especially when you're just trying to keep moving forward, but you also don't want to die by some random infection form. Now, keeping an eye out on our motion tracker, seeing if there's any enemies coming up behind us, and seeing if any enemies are coming up above us. That's where this infection form came from. Not infection form, but this combat form came from. And we're going to take out the other combat forms charging us. That guy didn't die, so waiting for him to come back. And apparently, I was looking for the wrong combat form, because that one came out of nowhere. Anyways, moving on. We also had a health pack if we needed it. Gonna toss down a plasma grenade. Yeah, that was kind of scary, right? Guy actually got the landed the sticky on that infection form. But here's the second bridge sequence. This one will have some. You're on the flood side now, and you're gonna want to keep an eye out for these banshees here. You're gonna want to let them dive down at you, and you're gonna use your rocket launcher to destroy the banshees. So that's one banshee down. We're looking at our motion tracker, keeping our eye open for these infection forms here. And then we're keeping an eye out for that banshee as well, making sure we're not getting oh god, that carrier form actually got me cornered. That was pretty scary, not gonna lie, but at least we are able to handle those infection forms. In reality, the banshee here is your biggest threat. So use the rocket launcher, take him out, let him dive you first though. Don't just like randomly blind fire your rocket launcher. Now we're gonna pick up the pistol here that one of the combat forms so generously dropped for us, and we're going to use the pistol plus the shotgun for a little while, because right now we're going to be using the pistol to clear out any traces of flood combat forms with rocket launchers. As you saw, that guy, he shot a rocket launcher, and we want to stay as far away from those combat forms as possible, because the benefit of us being on the other side, and let's just say they shot a rocket at us, right? At least I'm able to react to that rocket being shot at me. Like, if that rocket's being shot halfway across the map, I'm able to move out of its way so I don't get hit. So that's again a very good example of just being aware and honestly just again being very methodical and safe. That again, I know I sound like a broken record saying those same words, but it really, I cannot stress that enough. It's much better to be safe and methodical than to just go in half-cocked and not know what you're doing. Now, I was kind of just trying to bait out these infection forms. Like, there were so many following me. I didn't want them to follow me into the into this room. Like, that was just like me, like memeing the infection forms. Like, you should, like, there's nothing out there waiting for you. Just go into the next room and get ready to fight some more flood. Right? Hooray! Flood, everybody's favorite enemy to fight. Now, I'm gonna yeet ourselves another plasma grenade. Take out those two carrier forms. Or one, I guess, because the other one kind of was not vibing with the other. And we're going to toss another toss a plasma to clear out the remaining enemies over there. And see, we got ourselves a nice little collat with the shotgun to take out that carrier form. And making sure there's no other enemies. Saw that carrier form right here. Not carrier form, but the combat form. And that's pretty much it for the upper section of 2 Betrayals. Now we're on to the lower section. Now we're getting into the elevator. Switching back and forth between the classic and anniversary graphics really quick, just to see what it looks like. Killing these infection forms, because why not? Now, I apologize for what you're about to see. I was trying to do a nice little speedrunning technique that I saw, and I survived in this video, so I wanted to keep it in. I was thinking about taking out this because this looks really, really sloppy. The way that the speed running technique is supposed to go is you let this combat form charge you. You jump on its head, and then it basically allows you to get through this. It allows you to get through that little opening at the top there. That way you don't have to go all the way around. This really, really frustrated me and almost made me want to restart the entire run. But I just wanted to keep it in there. That way I could talk about it in this guide right now. I do plan on adding that into a future tips and tricks video. But it was just so, like, it sucked. But a majority of you guys are probably going to want to see it like this anyway. That way you know how to do it rather than the speed running way. Anyways, moving on. Once you get out here, this is the part that's going to be kind of difficult because you have a lot of enemies. You don't really have the weapons to handle them. Not to mention there's a Wraith who's about to really just wreck my day. Like he boom, right there. Like that could have ended my run, and that would have been demoralizing. But waiting for my shields to recharge, I just said YOLO. Go for the ghost and just go. Do not stop. Just go on past them. Use your plasma cannons on the ghost to just charge on through. The Wraith will not be able to react fast enough to kill you on your ghost, so you're fine. Just do not get stuck on anything. Just make sure you're being very safe again. And sometimes there's a difference between being safe and being what's the word? Being passive. You want to be safe, but you don't want to be passive. You want to be aware. And that's what the difference is understanding what you're getting yourself into. It's understanding the risk that you're getting yourself into and also understanding how to react to that risk. Now, going to go over here, pick up some ammo, pick up some grenades. Got ourselves a nice fair bit of pistol ammo, so we're cruising right now. We're doing good. Like we're not in a bad position at all. Like we're fine. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say the word "we're," but whatever, we're good. And there's another time right there. Anyways, we're going to book it in our ghost to the Banshees right here. This is another part where a good portion of you guys might die. When you book it over to the Banshee, you're going to get out immediately on the right near the closest Banshee you can find, and you're immediately going to want to fly upwards. Do not stop for anything. Do not go down there and try to aggro more. Do not try to do anything other than fly up here, and as soon as you get up here, you're going to just rush to the door. Do not let the grunt behind you hit you with a fuel rod cannon shot. Do not let the elite try to get you. Just rush on past. It's much easier to just rush on through. Now the second beam pillar thing has a lot of flood next to it, and it actually has a lot of combat forms that have shotguns, rocket launchers, and all that stuff. So we're going to be using frag grenades to clear them out. And make sure that we're also letting the flood come to us. We do not want the flood to get the drop on us. We want to make sure that we're always being aware of what the flood are doing and keeping them in front of us. We do not want to be caught off guard. We don't want to be caught into a corner. And that's a big reason why I'm actually taking the time to take out these infection forms, because I have to go up to that beam pillar thing and EMP my shields. If I leave any of these infection forms left standing while I'm sitting there with no shields, I'm going to die. So remember that. Just understand what you're getting yourself into in these little garbage scenarios. Now, as soon as you EMP your shields, you're going to go right to the door, and notice I lobbed 2 grenades and I used 2 rockets to help take out some of the flood that were waiting for me at this point in time. We're going to toss another grenade here and finish off the remaining flood forms. Now, there was this grunt right here. He scared the living crap out of me. He could have totally wrecked my day, but thankfully he was not paying attention, so I was able to get out of there alive. When you kill a grunt with a fuel rod cannon, by the way, in Combat Evolved, the fuel rod cannon will explode, so you're going to want to keep back from the from the grunt that has the fuel rod cannon, because it's going to explode. Just like the energy sword just randomly disappears. Same with the fuel rod cannon. Now with the Banshee, you're just going to fly at the very top of this cave, and you're going to shoot a little bit right there. That way the flood get your attention, or that way you get the flood's attention. So those two rocket launcher flood right there, they're usually going to miss you a good % of the time. Like I would say, like 2% of the time they actually land a shot on you. But moving up, but we're going to bring the Banshee all the way to the end, because I believe there's another speedrunning technique that you can do to get through the door. But we're going to bring the Banshee just in case, and take out these flood combat forms. Usually they charge up with their buddies, but this time they didn't. So I was just like, seriously guys, I just want to get this ghost without getting wrecked by flood all the time. But that's besides the point. So we're going to be taking this ghost, because we're going to need a ghost to get to the Banshee at the very end of the mission. And that's a pain if you're trying to just walk straight to the Banshee, you know what I mean? It's much easier in this ghost, trust me. It's much easier. And this next fighting section is actually easier too. At this point, we're going to get out of the ghost. We're going to open the door. Now, this door doesn't open all the way, so you're probably wondering, how am I going to get the ghost through? Good question, but first, we have to make sure it's safe for us to get the ghost through. Now, use the plasma grenades or whatever grenades that you have to take out the carrier forms on this door, and then also use to take out any other of the combat forms as well. Now, we're going to get into our Banshee. I tried to switch to the classic graphics to do the skip. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. Or I was trying to bring the Banshee. That way I could just move on through. I was trying to find a way to bring the Banshee rather than the ghost, but I just said screw it. Like I'm not going to waste any more time. But with the ghost, I know I can use that. We're going to back it in just like this. We're going to hop back over the ghost, get back into the Banshee. I was getting mad at the Banshee. And then we're going to just love tap the ghost. Just right on through the door. If it doesn't get through this first time, hit it again. If it doesn't get it through the second time, hit it again. All the way until the ghost has completely clipped through the door. Now, from this point, we're going to make sure that it's completely safe for us on both sides. That way we have the entire range of this side of the chasm. Because on the other side is just a whole bunch of flood. Now, as you see here, we have basically nothing over here that can like get our health back or anything like that. So we're going to use the ghost to our advantage. Now the ghost has full health. Now we're going to slowly move across this bridge up until this point right here. Once all the infection forms come out, use the ghost plasma cannons to clear out all the infection forms. Also, this allows you to see this entire straight up line of flood combat forms that I was just able to just run over. I got a kill-tacular off of that. Now you're going to want to be careful still of flood combat forms with rocket launchers. It's okay, as you saw me just completely matrix the hell out of that rocket launcher combat form, but it's but as you see here, I'm just kind of playing Splatter the Flood, and yeah, they have rocket launchers, but my ghost is faster than your rocket launchers, bud. So yeah, it's just clear out the flood combat forms. Take your time, because we are going to need a rocket launcher for the upcoming section. Come on now. These combat forms just do not want to fall over and die right now, but I think... Notice how the score didn't pop up? That means that combat form isn't dead. There you go. Now you see the score. Now it's dead. See? I'm not crazy. I promise. Keep an eye out on your score if you have it on, because sometimes the score won't register, and that's because the flood didn't die. Now, moving on. We're entering the final stage of the mission, guys. We're almost there. We're on the final run. We have 3 more little areas to go through, and we're going to skip 2 of them. We're going to skip 2. Just 2 of them. And then we're going to have the Banshee, and then we just finish the mission. We're almost there. We're on the home stretch. If you made it this far, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. Just keep going. You're almost done. Now, we're going to go up here. We're going to get out of our ghost, and as you see right here, there's a bunch of flood that just spawned. I got the rocket and the frag off just in time, and then killed that comet form. Why did I do that? I don't know. There was no real purpose to it, but it allowed us to not have to deal with a bunch of flood that are shooting us in the back. So that's a bonus. Unfortunately, we do have a banshee shooting at us in the back, so not all is amazing. And also making sure that we're being very careful. Do not get stuck on any geometry. At this point, switch to classic graphics. Hold up on the jump. Hold your jump key. That way, the nose of the ghost is pointing upwards, so you can get over the geometry. And then we're going to use the ghost to go all the way to go grab this banshee. Do not stop. Do not hesitate to get into the banshee. As soon as you reach the banshees, get out and then get right into a banshee. We almost died here. As you see, I have 1 HP. I have 3 bars left on the banshee. This run could have ended at this point in time, but luckily I was just fast enough to get into the banshee, and now we are flying to the third and final beam pillar thingy that we're going to EMP. Now, at the very end of this part right here, when you land on this little area right here, there's going to be quite a few sentinels that are going to rush you. This is why we have the rocket launcher out. I was just trying to get to this health pack, and then once I got the health pack, I felt comfortable enough to move forward. And now we're going to just kind of play a little bit of kill the sentinel. Like, it's a little bit of what's that? Basically, we're just gonna be shooting these sentinels out of the sky. That's pretty much it. I forget the sport. I think it's called skeet shooting. We're playing a little bit of skeet shooting with the sentinels, using our rocket launcher, using our shotgun. You just want to make sure you're being safe. Like, you could just totally rush in, EMP the thing, and then hope and pray that you get out of there alive. But I eventually I do that. Like, I killed enough of the sentinels where I felt comfortable. But as you see here, guys, we're nearing the end. I'll give you a spoiler alert. Like, I end up rushing this thing. Like, I don't kill every single sentinel in here. At a certain point, I just said screw it. But I do hope this video was helpful, guys. If it was, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions on how to do this mission or any of the other missions, feel free to ask, and I'll be more than happy to address your question in the comments below. Also, as always, please hit the subscribe button. And yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your guys' support, and I look forward to creating the next video, Keys. And that's actually the next one. So let me hop off of this and work on keys. Thank you guys for watching.
Each jump requires a rather consequential expenditure of energy.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.
But I'm pretty sure I can pull it from your suit without permanently damaging your shield. Needless to say, I think we should only try this once.